My name is Randall Kallinen, and I am a civil rights lawyer, and I represent Dallas Harris, whose 19-year-old son, Fred Harris, died, or is brain dead, that is, in the hospital, due to the Harris County Jail and Harris County. About 2 weeks ago, a lawsuit was filed by Harris County deputies and jailers saying that inmates and guards were in grave danger because of shortage of staffing and not enough funding. But that was well known long before that lawsuit was filed, and nothing was done by the Commissioner's Court. The Commissioner's Court is who funds the Harris County Jail. And Sheriff Gonzalez is the person who goes to the Commissioner's Court and says, I need more money for staff. And that has not occurred. There has been, in recent times, 6,000 inmate-on-inmate assaults and 1,000 inmate-on-guard assaults. Fred Harris was a special needs student due to his severe intellectual disability at Stafford High School. He was well loved at Stafford High School. As a matter of fact, there shall be a gathering at Stafford High School to commemorate his life later on. He was 98 pounds. His mother, Dallas Harris, came right over there the day that Fred Harris was arrested and delivered the ARD. If you don't know what an ARD is, that's when a student needs a special needs in a school. That lists every of the problems he has, and she delivered that to the sheriff's office, and they took the paperwork, and they even called the clinic so that they knew that Fred Harris was special needs, and he had an IQ of 62. Now, the person who injured Fred was 240 pounds with a knife. He had a knife in the jail. He had just been convicted the week before of continuous family violence. And then 2 days before he attacked Fred, he was charged with aggravated assault on a public servant because he attacked a guard. This was an extremely dangerous individual, proven by conviction, proven by attacking guards, had a knife in the jail, and they were put together. 240 pounds with a knife, extremely violent, 98 pounds. Special needs. Oh, in high school, by the way, he never was in any trouble for causing any problems, any violence whatsoever. He was in the jail for the very first time. And although they say it was aggravated assault, all it was he showed a knife to someone that he was scared of. So although it sounds like he maybe did something worse, if you look at the paperwork, all he did was show a knife to someone. That's what they allege he did. Of course, he's innocent until proven guilty, and based upon the facts that we know, he probably would have never been convicted. So this was a person who had never been convicted of a crime in his life. And we're here today to say, Commissioner's Court, you need to get that staff. The sheriff himself, Sheriff Ed Gonzalez, called Dallas just before the press conference and stated he needs more staff. It's the Commissioner's Court. Jails aren't popular. They want to put money into, this and that. But Harris County is not known for being behind on their budget. I haven't heard a single story about, this year we don't have any money. But not having money is no excuse legally anyway. You have to take care of the people that you arrest. But that wasn't done. So we are here today, not only on behalf of Fred Harris, but all the other Fred Harrises that are in this jail right now, in danger. Is there some really small person who's been charged with some small minor crime, and he's sitting there next to someone who at any time could stab or beat up this individual? We need guards. We need more guards. We need more staff so that fights can be stopped, fights can be prevented, people can be separated. And that's what we need. Next we'll be hearing from Shelby Stewart.
My name is Shelby Stewart. I'm a retired Houston Police Sergeant, and I supervised the city jail for 10 years. How does a guy with these issues, 98 pounds, end up in a cell with guys that are in jail for violent crimes? It doesn't make any sense. I believe that Sheriff Gonzalez is a good man at heart. And because I believe that, this investigation is not going to take long. They know where the players were supposed to be, the staff. They know who was not in the area where they should have been. They know the mistakes that were made today. So I would ask Sheriff Gonzalez, this mother is suffering agony, pain of losing a child. Don't prolong this. Be transparent, lay it out, and bring peace to this family.
Next we'll hear from Mr. Jackson.
My name is Keith Jackson of the Keith Jackson Attorney and Counselor and Law firm here in the city. Ms. Harris asked me to come down and support as well. And just as we've heard, the lack of resources that the Sheriff's Office has is not an excuse by any standard. The Sheriff's Office is actually, this is a result of their own misdoings by going through bond reform and making the ability for individuals with crimes that have an aggravated moniker next to them difficult for them to get out. The fact that he had a charge of aggravated assault is part of the reason that he had to remain in jail with an unreasonable bond. There was notice not only by Ms. Harris coming down to the jail, but also a psychiatric evaluation was ordered by the court, which was also notice to the jail that their procedures should have been followed somehow for Mr. Harris, young Mr. Harris, to be segregated and away from general population. The fact that he was not was an intentional act by the jail. The fact that he was amongst the general population left him to be preyed upon. And here we are today in another instance by Harris County not safely protecting and adequately protecting these individuals while they're detained waiting on their court dates. And we're here to support the family and do what we can to get justice for this young man whose life shouldn't have been lost at such a young age.
Next we'll hear from Cynthia Cole.
Good afternoon. My name is Cynthia Cole. I'm the Executive Director for Harris County Hospital, for the American Federation of State County Municipal Employees, Local 1550. And I apologize, I'm a little nervous and also a little emotional. I'm a mother. I think that, and I'm a grandmother. Special needs requires special attention. That's why it's special needs. Why was it so dismissive to the hospital, to the county, to the sheriffs to find out that this young man was special needs? Why was that a dismissive factor when it is a realistic factor in how he should have been treated? I don't ever want to get a call Excuse me, ma'am, we have your special needs son who is now non-responsive. I challenge the citizens of Harris County and neighbors to wake up. Pay attention. It could be you. It could be your child. This young man deserved better, and he got the worst case scenario, dismissiveness. You, as a citizen, are held accountable to doing the things by the letter of the law. Hold the sheriff's department and all of those involved accountable for applying the law. Do not be as equally dismissive. God bless the family. God bless our community. And let's take care of today.
Thank you, Cynthia. Next we'll hear from Jeff Reese.
Hi, my name is Jeff Reese. I'm president of the Houston Peace and Justice Society, Justice Center, pardon me. I'm with the Greater Coalition for Justice and amongst other organizations. I came from the Harris County Sheriff's Department. I retired after 26 years. I was a supervisor. I worked in this jail in 701 in Little Baker. And unfortunately, I'm not surprised. I'm probably the only one that is not surprised to be here. There have been problems throughout my tenure with the Sheriff's Department. And instead of fixing the problem, it's kind of an administrative problem. They just kick it down the road. 2 months after I retired, there was a man beaten to death in the classification holding tank. And I just complained before I retired on the same deputy that was responsible for watching these inmates. I was told by his supervisor it was none of my business. And so business as usual kept going on. And today it's kind of sad, but they need to make changes that haven't been made yet. Unfortunately, this young man should never have been brought to jail. And that's part of the problem. The problem is the whole system. Our criminal justice system is very, very wrong, and we need to fix the whole thing, not just this aspect of it. You know, I'm sorry? No, but so many people are brought here. Now, bail reform to misdemeanors has already occurred, you know, but it still is not the total answer. The answer is not to take people that aren't criminals and put them with criminals. And if you do that, you're responsible. There's a thing they taught us. It's care, custody, and control. When someone comes into this building or that building or into the jail system, they become the responsibility of the Harris County Sheriff's Office. They're responsible for their safety. They're also responsible for the safety of their employees. And that's another thing that is in danger right now. They're very short-staffed. The poor employees that work here, they have a very hard time. When something happens, the blame goes down. It rolls downhill. The people really responsible are never held accountable. And unfortunately, a lot of times they're promoted, actually. And the people that say something are punished. And that's kind of the way the system is across America. Law enforcement is not very friendly for whistleblowers. And if the whistleblower does say something, the whistleblower is then punished, and a statement is read that the problem was solved, we punished somebody. Well, that's not the way it went. When I first started, a young lady was sexually harassed. She brought a recording device in the old 1301 Franklin jail. They wouldn't listen to her, so she recorded it. The next day, a memo came down that said, we've solved the problem. We've solved it. The memo said that the next person bring a recording device into the jail system would be fired. That's one way to solve a problem, but that's not the right problem. If the problems had been addressed, you wouldn't be standing here. This young man wouldn't have lost his life. There's several issues that need to be addressed. So, I'm sorry, any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you very much. Next we'll hear from Dallas. Now, she has not prepared anything, so I usually take questions. I'm sure you have some questions of Dallas. And anybody have a question? Can you speak up?
Yeah, can she just talk to us about her son, what he was like,
Oh,
and
yeah, sure.
what he enjoyed doing?
Yeah, Fred was a super loving kid. Even though he was special needs, you really couldn't tell. He just had a way about himself, a poise about himself. He loved to dance. He wanted to fit in more than anything. And again, that's why we're here. This is just hard. It feels unreal almost. But Fred, if you guys met him, you would love him. Anybody that met him would absolutely love him. And when I say he danced his way to everyone's heart, he was one of the most kind kids you'd ever meet. And, if you follow up with the school, they love him there. Everybody loves Fred. And we will get justice for Fred.
Dallas, first of all, as a fellow parent and especially as a child, not my own family. What went wrong in this process? You're down here advocating for your son, telling him his condition. Were you offered any assurances about his safety, about special care, control, custody for a 19-year-old with an IQ of 62 who had never been incarcerated before?
Yeah. So when I first learned that my son was in jail, I automatically got up here as soon as I heard. I came down immediately and I told him, I said, this is not a place for him. He'll never understand. So I spoke with the deputy, we called the medical staff, and I didn't leave until I got some answers. And when I left, they said that my son would be okay and that they would handle this. So then we're here now, a couple of days later, and this wasn't handled.
Randall says you had a conversation with the sheriff this morning. Can you kind of talk to us a little bit about what that phone call was about?
Well, no one has been contacting me back. I with just like a simple dignity of saying, hey, we think this is going on. And I understand because it is an investigation. But this was the first time someone even called me back. And, they're telling me basically the same thing. This is an investigation, and that, he's sorry and there's some changes that need to be made.
Prior to the assault, were you able to speak with your son during his time incarcerated here? And was he afraid?
I wasn't. I spoke with his attorney, and that was the only person I spoke with. And he informed me that he was gonna file, the proper medical documentation so that we can have him in the right place. And to my knowledge, that was done, and I wasn't able to.
Where did the brandishing take place? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. Where did the brandishing take place? Was it at a group home? How did this happen?
To my knowledge, it was at a group home. Yes.
Do you feel like you were the only person looking out for Fred in this situation? Can you kind of elaborate on what that must have felt like?
I think that, as you can see, everybody's here looking out for Fred. So no, I'm not. No, and like I said, he's loved. And you're going to feel everyone's presence around.
I guess I meant in the jail. I'm sorry. I didn't
Oh,
mean
no. I think that what I did was what I needed to do. I didn't know to do anything else. And I thought that would cover him. So, I didn't need to consult anyone else. I thought he would be safe and okay.
She did more than what any other parent would do. She actually went right over there, which is the sheriff's office, and hand-delivered paperwork on the very day he was arrested, and then got an insurance by the sheriff's department, getting on the phone to the clinic and talking right to the clinic, who said they were aware of Fred's condition, probably through MHMR, all that's connected, and they assured her he'd be okay. So she did more than just about any other parent I know would do.
Now that you've heard about the chronic understaffing, now that you've heard about the thousands of assaults that preceded your son's injury, what's your message to the 5 people on Harris County Commissioner's Court responsible for funding proper care and custody?
I'd like to tell them this is their doing. This is their fault. they did this to my son. That's what I'd like to tell them. That they helped aid commit the murder of my son.
I think that's enough for right now.
Kallinen, one quick question for you to address.
Can you speak up a little bit?
Yes, the administration of the jail, even with their understaffed resources, I presume you don't excuse them for what happened because they were understaffed. Is there a lack of proper administration here also?
Oh yes. Dallas delivered to the sheriff the information necessary so that Fred could have been put into isolation or into some cell with a non-violent individual by himself. That's all it would take. But instead, he was put with a 240-pound individual proven to be extremely violent and who had manufactured a knife in the jail. And the reports are that this was not a fight. The sheriff's department said it's a fight. Well, when a 240-pound person just jumps on you and you're 98 pounds, it ain't a fight. It's just an attack and an assault. And that's what the witnesses say. So there was no fight. That's just some word that the PR department did here to make it sound like somehow he's responsible. Hey, people fight, they get in trouble. You know. But that's not what happened. He was attacked, unprovoked.
I have one more. Randall,
Yeah.
Jackson as well. To bring a federal claim, civil rights violation, to succeed, and I'm not a lawyer,
Yeah.
you must demonstrate systemic negligence and knowledge of extensive problems.
Sure.
Do you believe you have evidence of that in combination with the Jail Deputies Association lawsuit?
In this particular case, it's clear with plenty of evidence that it is the Commissioner's Court, which acts on behalf of Harris County. They're understaffing and they're underfunding based upon the complete volume of the assault by inmates on inmates and inmates on deputies. And the constant notice given by lawsuits and individuals going to the Commissioner's Court saying, hey, we need more money. So there's no doubt they knew that there was a problem and they have failed to do anything about it. A lot of these commissioners run on a political platform as, hey, we're good on civil rights. Because now it's 3-2 Democrats to 2 Republicans. And those Democrats depend upon, we're good for civil rights. Well, you are? Well, then fund this jail and staff this jail. Show us. Where are your civil rights?
Absolutely.
Anything further? Alrighty, well, I do appreciate it. We all appreciate you coming out, and this is thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Can we get some spellings of names
Sure.
of everyone who spoke? I think we probably will all be.
Sure, you can just ask whoever you would like to for their.
Oh, okay. Maybe we'll just start going down. I can.
First, to step up to the microphone.
Yeah, that would be.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Cynthia Cole, Cynthia